All right, one of the cool things about Palworld is they give you the options to tweak just about every setting in the game to make it more challenging or super easy and fast. I'm going to go through some of the settings that I probably most people don't really check or notice or have messed around with, but we put about 45 hours into it. And we're like, you know what? It's getting too much of a grind. It's taking too long to get some of these items. If you're chugging away with your pickaxe at one of the stones, the ores, the quartz, anything like that, you're going to get 40, right? If you bump the multiplier up to 3, you're going to get 120. You can also make, let's get into it. So look, when you go to start your game, all right? Start your game, pick your world, change world settings down here at the bottom, okay? I don't know, maybe you already know this, maybe you don't. So you can choose your difficulty. If you go to custom settings, you can change whatever you want. All right, so daytime speed, nighttime speed, you can speed that up or slow it down. If you want long daytimes, go down to here. If you want faster night times, speed it up. You can literally tweak each one of those to your liking. XP rate standard is 1. We bumped it up to 3 once we got to level 40. And then we're like, screw it, let's go 20. So we get 20 times experience. You fight a boss, capture a pet, you get like 180,000 XP. You level up so quickly, it's stupid. It's kind of cool because if you're doing another playthrough, or you're like, I just want to get max level, build a base, go capture pals, bloop, there you go. All right, that's where mine's at. Pal capture rate. Now I haven't messed with this yet because I was like, I still kind of want it to make it like, oh, hey, there's still a little bit of a challenge, make me craft the better spheres and all that stuff. But you can crank this up to 2 if you want, or you can make it super hard and go half, but I'm gonna leave mine at 1. And then pal appearance rate, note, affects game performance. So walking around the world, there's little packs, there's like 2 or 3 of them at a time, right? You can go double that, so then when you go and see packs, there's double the amount. And then if you go times 3, there's just herds of pals everywhere. And there is, I don't have it yet, but there's like a sphere launcher that like launches a ton of spheres, and you can just like capture them all. It's like easy to farm if you're doing breeding and you're doing end game stuff and you're trying to max out the abilities they have with the 4 stars. You need to pump into the pal condenser like a bunch of pals to level them up, all that stuff. It's a whole thing. Like, so this makes it way easier, but do keep in mind it does get a little tougher because you have more, especially like the harder enemies and the harder zones. You're gonna get whooped. There's a good chance that also, not only does it just make the herds better, more plentiful, right? If you go to a boss room, I don't know about the raid, I haven't done a raid boss with this, but if you go to like the bosses with the little shiny portal, right? You go in, right? 3 Pang Kings, and then all the little penguins that are with him. It was like 9 of them. It was crazy. So not only does it affect the, you know, overworld, it affects the boss battles as well. So keep that in mind. It will be obviously a lot harder. You're fighting 3 if it's, you know, just you. But anyway, so yeah, that's a thing. Damage from pals multiplier, I haven't messed with this. I'm assuming you crank it up, you can do 5 times damage. And then damage to pals, you don't want to take damage or take like no damage, put it down. You want to take more damage if you're doing like a crazy, trying to do like a, I don't know why you would do that, but if you want to challenge, there it is. Pal hunger depletion rate, it gets real annoying at the base when they're just hungry all the time. They're breaking bones, they're getting depressed, they're just being real dumbasses, right? So I put the hunger rate down, and stamina reduction rate, I put that down. Just, that's my personal preference. Okay, I haven't touched how their health regenerates during sleep. Damage from player multiplier, you can make it so you do more damage. I haven't messed with that. It is what it is. Damage to player, same thing. Player hunger depletion rate, once you get to end game and they crank out berries, you can just bake some berries and keep them in your food sack, and you're good to go. I haven't messed with that. If you don't want to deal with hunger, 0.1, there it is. Stamina reduction rate, if you want more stamina, there you go. You never run out of stamina, basically. I'm level 50, and it's not really an issue. I don't know if it would affect, I think there's one, yeah, PAL stamina reduction rate. So this affects them when you're flying on your mountain stuff. So if you also want to mess with that, You don't want to deal with stamina. There you go. Player auto health regeneration, and while you're sleeping, I haven't messed with that. It's fine with me. So damage to structure multiplier, we had an issue where our base got destroyed twice. So I cranked this down so when we get raided, they don't do as much damage, and we don't want our base to keep disappearing. And this was set to 1. Structure deterioration rate. I'm assuming over time they just weaken and just break, and I think that's why like we were good for like 2 or 3 days, and we logged in and then like it was good, and then boom, half of it was gone. So if you're building a base and you want to keep your base and you've spent like 10, 20, 30 hours building your base like we have, I would advise taking these two down to 0.5 and 0. Okay, so maximum number of dropped items in a world. I believe this was on 3,000. Crank that bad boy up. You'll see a ton more items. And even with all these multipliers and all these extra items, it's still a grind. It's better, but it's still a grind. So just keep that in mind. And gatherable items multipliers is what I'm talking about when you're like hitting the ore nodes. Instead of getting 40, you'll get 120. I'd highly advise this because you're going to roll through mats like it's nothing. So crank that up to 3. Gatherable objects health multiplier, I didn't touch that. And then gatherable objects respawn, I cranked that up to 3 so they respawn a lot faster than normal. I mean, at this point I've put so many hours in the game, I'm like, just give it to me as fast as possible, because breeding is going to take time. So, and then dropped items multiplier. Okay, so if you leave it on 1, say you beat one of those stripper llamas, okay, they give you 2 wool. Okay, you crank this up, you're gonna get 6 wool. And the POW fluids you get from the mammorests or whatever they are, the big mammoths, you're gonna need those for crafting and game crafting for polymer. Crank this up to 3, you'll get like 20 to 30 from killing one, and it saves so much time. So I would advise to crank this up to 3 as well. Now, time hours to incubate an egg. Okay, I believe it's on 2. All right, I don't know why you'd put this on 240 hours. That is insane. I had it on 1. We've had it on 1. It's still, you know, it gives you time to throw your eggs in the incubator. Some are 3 minutes, some are still 30 minutes, some are still 45 an hour, depending on how big the egg is. If you don't want to wait, you want as soon as you put your egg in the incubator for it to hatch, 0. Instant egg hatching. If you don't want to, if you're doing a lot of breeding and you're breeding and you're breeding and you're breeding and you don't want to wait, boom, 0, done. So yeah, it's cool that they have a lot of this. And then death penalty, she didn't want to lose her stuff, so we put it on no drop. So if you die, you don't drop anything. Obviously, if you really want to go full survival mode, you can drop everything. I believe when it does drop though, you can run back and grab your stuff. Okay, max number of gills, I didn't mess with that. And max pals working at base is 15. I cranked it to 20. Once you max out your base and you upgrade it, you can have 20 pals. It just makes it more efficient. So if you didn't know, there you go. It makes a big difference if you've already played for a while and you just want to grind it out and get more mats. So hopefully this video helped you guys. I'm gonna make some more Palworld videos. Hell yeah, you know the drill. Subscribe, come back, see you on the next one.